is that they actually pay a miner, a Bitcoin miner, about 31 million back in August. The other thing that was coming out on the news, though, Tesla. It's always on the news, right? So there are a couple things there on Tesla. One is some speculation on how the new Tesla, that everybody's calling it Model 2, but I don't think that Elon is going to call it that way. And it has the resemblance of a Cybertruck, right? So I told you in a previous episode that I think that we're going to start seeing more like straight lines,
That's
very
right.
cyber
Masculine. I think that's what you said.
masculine.
Masculine.
Yeah, and it's happening. I coined it.
You called it, Mondo. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I
put
called
another
it.
one on your checkbox there. But you know what? I think it's pretty interesting. Trends tend to change, and
Mm.
I've been shopping for my next vehicle for a while, right? I think I maybe mentioned.
I thought that you say I was shopping. It's like what you who you are shopping?
I've been chopping. Yeah, no, I've been I've been shopping. It still comes out that way. I've been shopping for a new a car for a while right now. Right, since I got rid of the Porsche, I moved from a Porsche to a 5 Series 535, but also moved on from that, and I've been kind of determining what kind of car do I want. So we went to uh, I think I've been wanting to do a truck just because I've been enjoying going to the beach and things like that. So Cybertruck was
Mhm.
a natural fit. And when it came out, my jaw dropped because they had planned it and they were teasing the Cybertruck as an unveil, right? Like, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be so cool. And a lot of people thought it was gonna be very futuristic and how it looked and the design and things like that. But when it came out with this angular triangle, they weren't expecting that, and it really did come out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so this is very, very different. But the reason I hadn't pulled a trigger on a truck before is because I'm like, man, they really all just look the same, and the design hasn't changed in years, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's why I was like, you know what? I was vacillating between, should I just get one of these trucks? The one that I was maybe most interested in was a Ford Raptor,
The Raptor
or
is
do
nice. Yeah.
the Raptor is, it's kind of a fun car. Still has the same look, but you can modify it
You
so
can
that it looks a little
modify
bit
it with.
different.
I know
Yeah.
that we like your lowrider neon on the bottom, right? Like
With the bass and all the way
with
up.
the
Yep, yep.
bass, and when there is a stop sign, you can actually lift it on the front. I know your taste, man.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's I'm like, okay, Raptor, or do I go back to just another Porsche or something like that? So but when that came out, I mentioned it before, man, that thing, it looks so weird. And I didn't purchase, like, you could put your $100 down to reserve
Mhm.
an order, and I didn't do that, Nate. I slept on it. I woke up, I'm like, you know what, it's growing on me, it's cool, and that's why I bought it. But it's such a brutal, like, design, and in architecture, I like that same design, like in a home and things like that. So like my
It's
new
a
house.
mudra, man. It's a mudra. Like
Oh, is
you
that
know,
is that
it's
like the Illuminati, or what is that?
I think so. So we'll do a woo woo
I haven't
episode.
heard that one before.
Right?
Okay, I
You
haven't
coin
heard
it.
that
We
theory before.
we call it out here.
Is that the all-seeing eye? That's what's on
The old
the
Sinai.
logo, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, either way, very cool design, and like you said, it's likely going to be a shift here. I've noticed some other automakers also trying to kind of make their vehicles look a little bit more futuristic as well. So it's going to have an effect on others too.
Yeah, we'll see how Apple it was the trend, right, for many years on very circular, very feminine, very aesthetic, right? I'm curious that battle, how it's gonna look like, right? So there again, there's a lot of advancements, and now with AI, we might see other type of almost non-human type of designs, right? Because now the machine can come up also with very good designs. But yeah, that was on the news. The other thing that was on the news was this thing called the Giga Water Loop, close by Austin, here in our almost our backyard. What do you think that that thing is?
You know what? I think Elon Musk just likes to do things to keep us on our toes. He's just like making stuff up. He's like, this is gonna get him this week. You know, it's
Yeah, it's an
I have
attention
no clue
whore.
what it is. Maybe that's what it is. I have no clue what it is, but I think we've heard previously that at the Gigafactory in Austin, he wanted to do that like into like an ecological park, something like that.
Mm,
So it could be part of that. I don't know, or it could be part of some manufacturing process that we don't know about yet.
I don't know, but it looks nice. It looks cool. And yeah, take a look on Google the image, and it looks pretty good. So that, yeah, that came out as well, on the news. Uh, Talking about energy and all of that, something interesting that came out too. Are you familiar with this, with the company ERCOT? Or it's not a company; it's actually part of the government, right?
Well, I think a lot of people have heard of ERCOT in Texas because they froze their butts off a couple of years ago because ERCOT couldn't manage the electricity demands in Texas, and everybody lost power when it was like one of the coldest ever events here in Texas, and some people even died because they didn't
Yeah.
have electricity in their home. So it was a
But
big
I
event.
was in Miami Beach, baby.
You fled. You were out there with Rubio, huh?
With no, no, with the senator, right? What was no, it wasn't Rubio though. It
It's
was
not Rubio. Who's it?
no,
Ted
it was
Cruz. Ted
the
Cruz.
Ted Cruz, but he
Ted
went to
Cruz. That's who it
Cancun.
was. Oh, he went to Cancun. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh god. Yeah, he didn't want to ride out the storm here. So yeah. So a lot of people have heard of this ERCOT because they're the ones that are supposed to manage the Texas grid. For a little bit of context, there's a lot of electrical grids that manage electricity needs throughout the United States. Well, us being in Texas, we like to do everything on our own and be kind of very independent. So Texas has its own energy grid, and ERCOT is the company behind it that manages it. Now, there was a lot of there was a lot of I want to say scam, but not necessarily scam, but scandal behind this because a lot of the people that were running ERCOT at the time when this thing happened, they're not even from Texas. They were from all different parts of the United States. So
Okay.
they had no vested interest in making sure because they're not here, their families aren't here.
Mhm.
They didn't really care, and they let it fail, and it led to death. So that's not a very good look. So since then, I think they've tried to improve some of that, but I don't know how much they've actually done to change it. But anyways,
Well,
so ERCOT,
yeah. So the news though is that they actually pay a Bitcoin miner, about 31 million back in August. So, which is a lot of mullah, right? So, but it's just quite interesting to me that how they are not able to. They are kind of, whenever they can't provide all of that energy, they ask the miner, "Hey, stop mining." But obviously, the miner is like, "Hey, I need an incentive. I need a little bit of oil
yeah,
to be able to stop the
exactly,
the production." So, I'm glad that it's working out for both, right? For the miners and for ERCOT, because obviously it's kind of trying to control the demand in one way, right? So,
yeah.
what's your point of view for that?
Well, I think it's actually it's kind of a brilliant strategy. So they came up with this strategy working with the miners where like, look, the ERCOT needs to increase the capacity of electricity and power in Texas, right? So
Hmm.
there's like in electricity for the grid itself for it to not be damaged, you need to have supply and demand kind of pretty
Very
close
close.
together,
Hmm.
right? Because you can't have excess electricity because what happens if you push too much electricity through a wire, right? It's going to burn
It is
up,
very
right?
hard, by the way, for those people. It's very hard to store it, and that's the reason why also Tesla has their power walls to be able to store energy. So yeah, there, and sometimes it just almost gets destroyed because there is no way to store it. But
Yeah.
continue, yeah.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is okay. Well, if we need more electricity during the high peaks and things like that, we need to be able to increase capacity. But like at nighttime and things like that, there's not as much demand. So like you can't spin up a power plant during the day and then turn it off at night and then turn it on during the day and turn it off at night. It doesn't work like that. So what they came up with is, well, these miners, these big mining companies, what they can
Hmm.
do is they can help increase the capacity of ERCOT by saying, okay, we're going to use this many gigawatts of power, whatever it is, every day or every month or whatever. So we can increase capacity so that that capacity is going to be there if we need it. The only thing is if like it's a super hot day, like in August, we had like 100 degrees, like back to back to back to back in Texas. So there was a lot of demand at that point. So what they do is like they understand, oh, like next Wednesday or Thursday is going to be super hot. We're going to need a lot of power to run everybody's air conditioners, right?
Hmm.
Otherwise, we're going to have brownouts and people are going to get really hot or they could die because they don't have air conditioning. In
What
Texas, we
happened if I'm
have
already brown?
right. Well, you're able to withstand a little bit more heat, I think.
I think that is all my melanin, man.
The melanin, right?
Yeah.
But well, and so that's what the agreement is. Basically, okay, we're going to help ERCOT increase their capacity of electricity, and whenever they need extra power because it's super hot and people need more power to run their air conditioners, we're going
Hmm.
to give up that capacity to the grid, but only if you pay us. So it's a win-win for both.
It's a
You know,
win-win.
it's a win-win. The miners are able to make money by running their miners in
Yeah.
a friendly state like Texas for these businesses, and you know we have ERCOT gets a better grid that's able to support more energy
More
demand
stable.
throughout the hot months and in the cold months too. So
Yep. For sure. I think that we have a solid one. Um, let's wrap it up, this.
all right. Well, hopefully y'all enjoyed hearing a little bit about the latest news that's going on in our world. If if you like this content, remember to like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. Let them know that you're enjoying this content, and it would be good for them to also listen to us. So, any closing thoughts, Mando?
Yeah, get at least your 0.2% of a Bitcoin, right?
Now's the time, according to
Now's
Plan
the
B. Look,
time,
Plan B, yeah,
according to Plan B, huh? Again, we
right.
are not financial advisors.
Hey, but do it sin miedo, okay? See y'all
Sin
next time.
miedo. Dale. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.